What if you could predict the traffic every day? What if you had a button you could push that would drive more predictability to your restaurant sales? Meaning something in marketing that could trigger people and drive them in to spend money when you need the money and then shut it off when you don't need it.
My goal is to help restaurant owners finally get to where they want to go. But more than that, my goal is to find entrepreneurs within that segment that actually know what it means to hustle. That's my goal. Come on the journey with me.
Restaurant Marketing Secrets, episode 168. I'm Matt Plapp, and we are brought to you by America's Best Restaurants. America's Best Restaurants is on a path to help you, independent restaurant owners, find more frequent customers, because infrequent customers don't pay the damn bills. Let's get into it. Predictability. It's actually, honestly, what always drove me crazy when I was in the retail business. Now, being in B2B and having a little more predictability on my end is comforting. But we also have parts of our business that aren't predictable, just like you. But when we were in the retail business with our boat dealership for 9-10 years, that was one thing that I always thought about was, man, every month is a new month. And there's nobody's scheduling to come buy boats. You know, they're buying a boat every 3 to 4 years, sometimes every 1 or 2, but typically 3, 4, 5 years, they're buying a boat. We didn't know when they were going to come in for service or parts or accessories or upgrades. And that was one thing that really kept you on the edge of your seat. You know, we were doing at our peak $15.4 million in sales. And that was a lot of transactions. But recently I picked up a book that's got my mind going a million miles an hour. The book's concept is around predictable revenue. And what it's talking about is, what levers are there in your business that have higher levels of certainty than others when it comes to predictability? And as I think about it, the book's got a couple different meanings, but as I relate this to my business, and then when I relate it to my business, I think about how does it relate to our restaurant clients' businesses. It's got me really thinking deep about what the opportunities are with predictability in marketing. You know, I can look at my schedule this week. Let me go my notes on my phone because I have this in here because I look at it every weekend, and I can see that Stacy has around 40 appointments this week, 36 plus 4. I can see Darren's got right at 30, and I can see Luis has right around 28. I've got another 8 meetings. So I can look on there and see that we're, approaching 100 meetings this week. I also know that we have 5 other people on our team that are consistently working to schedule meetings with restaurants that need to know about us. We also have, probably 40 different ad campaigns running online. We do a few email campaigns a week, some very targeted, some broad-based. I'm on a few podcasts every week. I launch a bunch of podcasts every week. And then we put out probably anywhere between 80 to 100 pieces of organic content on social media daily. So we're getting to a point where we can expect a certain amount from certain things. I know that my calling team will schedule 30 appointments this next 5 days. I know that our Facebook ads will schedule 40 appointments in the next 5 days, 7 days. They don't take off. I know that I'll get a certain amount of appointments from efforts I'll make this week, but there's also some things in there that aren't as predictable. But that got me wondering, how can we create something for our restaurant clients that is that easy button? I've got sitting on my desk.
That was easy.
The Staples easy button. We attempted to paint it orange. It actually doesn't look that good orange. So what could we create, and what could you create to have more predictable outcomes to your marketing? Now, one thing I am adamant on is I believe that the way to get more predictable is to get more of a focus and fine-tuned message and fine-tuned audience. So as I dig into our clients' marketing campaigns and their email and text lists, that's one of the things right off the bat you could do is come up with more infrequent one-off promotions. And I say one-off, and I mean one-off that you can repeat. So a menu Monday, a VIP burger sampling. And these are events you can create that are repeatable, but not to the same people all the time. We interrupt your program for a brief announcement from our sponsor.
Hey, it's Matt. And yeah, that was me. But guess what? We don't have any sponsors. It's just us, America's Best Restaurants. We don't take money for our podcast. We don't sell sponsorships. We don't have product placements. It's just me giving you advice that can help your restaurant get to the next level. But what I would love for you to do is check out what America's Best Restaurants is doing at americasbestrestaurants.com. Check out our ABR Roadshow on the Get Featured tab, or check out what we're doing under Restaurant Marketing Help that can help you, independent restaurants, take the next step in your marketing. Now back to the podcast. Because what happens when these go out to everybody, they become numb to them. I can remember about 15 years ago when Kids Eat Free was an anomaly. Like, oh my gosh, this restaurant has Kids Eat Free on every Tuesday. And then within a month or two, it's like every restaurant's got Kids Eat Free on every Tuesday. And then within a year, nobody gives a shit. You know, as sad as it is, people love the McRib sandwich because it's not always there. And it's got enough money behind it to make people excited about it. So what can you create on your end as a restaurant owner that gives you some level of certainty when you push that button? Because you're going to have weeks where sales don't go as planned. Like yesterday in Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati, we got dumped on with snow. I can promise you it affected restaurants in our area. And so there was a restaurant yesterday. I don't know who, but I'm saying there was a restaurant in our area that was expecting $3,000 in sales from the Bengals game. And when this snowstorm hit, people stayed home. They didn't go to the Bengals, watch the Bengals game somewhere else. They watched it at home. And so that restaurant lost sales. And so they're sitting there today looking at a hole that was created because of a snowstorm. And so you've got to ask yourself, what buttons can you push in your marketing that allow you to have some level of predictability with those? And the way you can do that is by having very targeted events to very targeted audiences on a very limited basis. And so I'll scratch this out on my head. So let's say, for example, I've got my idea I talk about all the time, Menu Monday. And Menu Monday to me is where you take Monday afternoons, 5 to 8 o'clock, late afternoon, early dinner. Most restaurants aren't popping off sales that time. And you come up with a way that you can sample appetizers, you can test some menu items, you can sample some desserts. In my mind, you want to push things that are small samples that you're not going to sell all the time, and you're just trying to perk people. And you're going to have maybe a beer discount, a certain happy hour. But you're going to have this at the part of the restaurant that's kind of roped off, that's segmented off, that is private seating only, and it's reserved for that. And that way, when other people walk in and they see that that side over there has 50 people on it, and they're like, what is that? Oh, that's a VIP program we do sometimes on Monday nights for certain audiences, people in our email and text list. Based on their usage of our VIP program, they get invited to certain nights. And tonight they're sampling some new desserts, some secret menu items, testing some appetizers, and they get some different discounts. It's kind of a thing we do to test our menu. Oh, man, that sounds cool. You could do that every Monday night, but you couldn't market it. You don't want this to be in the public every Monday night. And maybe you couldn't do it every Monday night, as I say this out loud, because if you do it every Monday night and somebody comes in on Monday nights and they consistently see it, it's not as cool. But if it's a small group, maybe it is. I mean, because if it's 30 people and you get 30 people to spend $30, you got $900 in sales on a Monday night. And so if you can figure out a way to maybe every other Monday do a Menu Monday, and you have a database of 500 people, that are awesome customers, and you say, you know what, every quarter I'm going to invite them to a Menu Monday, so we're going to do 6 of these a quarter. Let's just round that up to 100. You find 600 customers, you're going to invite 100 of them every quarter.
to a Menu Monday. And you're going to let them know, hey, you're one of 100 people invited to this. We do these limited. If you're interested, we need you to RSVP. And then you have fun with it and you don't put it anywhere else. And you start building that up. And then Menu Monday can be something on Tuesday and then Wednesday and then Thursday. Next thing you know, every quarter you've got 10, 15, 20 events happening that aren't mass marketed, that aren't mass appeal. They're 30, 40 people. If you're a restaurant that's got beer, I was just looking at the Facebook page of one of our restaurants, a guy I'm doing a podcast with next week. He's got a giant bar. He's got a bunch of beers. Build up an IPA crowd. Build up a craft beer crowd. Build up a hops club. Build up a Stein club, a growler club. Build up something that you know these people are beer people. Maybe they're a stout, they're a lager, they're an IPA, they're a hef, and start using that to creatively build predictability into your marketing. Because I can promise you, if you have a Stein club of 200 people and every 8 to 12 weeks you do something really, really, really unique to them, when you hit that button, it'll pop off. How do I know this? Because I did it with Hofbrauhaus, Newport, Pittsburgh, and Columbus. We developed. Newport already had a strong Stein club. Pittsburgh's was non-existent. I built Columbus's from zero to what it is now. We also created a growler program within there. We also had the monthly cake tapping for the new menu. I leveraged a very specific audience to drive predictable sales when I wanted it. And it worked amazing. When we had Steinmaster dinners, amazing. When we had tastings, amazing. When we had specific parties for them, amazing. Because I had a targeted audience that had massive know, like, and trust in the brand, and I didn't abuse the list. I didn't invite them every week. I didn't invite them every other week. I invited most of them once every 1 or 2 months. And so by having that scarcity, it helps it. Well, you have scarcity in your database. It's just a matter of you spending the time to know what's in there. That's all I got. Predictable revenue. And I guess you could call it marketing levers you can pull, because I'm trying to figure it out in my business, because I would love to have 10 different places every week where restaurant appointments came from for my company. And I'm sure you would love to have 10 different places every week where you could pull levers and customers walk in the door. Let's go on a journey. Let's find those. We'll talk about that in a future episode. So as you know, I don't charge for my content. We don't have sponsors. We don't have product placement in here. But what I want your help with is spreading the word. If you're finding value here, do me a favor. Share this on your social media. Share an episode with something that made sense to you, that's relevant to your restaurant, that you got value from, and tag Matt Plapp and America's Best Restaurants. Also, go to America's Best Restaurants on Facebook and on Google and leave us a review. Let us know the impact we've had on your restaurant with our roadshow, with our marketing help, or with our podcast. And last but not least, if you want to take the next step and help me out a lot and help us out a lot, text me a testimonial, 859-743-2408. That's my cell. A selfie video would be awesome about the impact this content or our company is having on your independent restaurant. But worst case scenario, just a few kind words. The way we can help lift this industry up is to help get content like this to more independent restaurant owners, and you are the key to spreading the word. I appreciate your support. Have an amazing day.